Imagine spending hundreds of millions of dollars to build the ultimate musical supergroup. You take the absolute best, most famous performers from four different massively successful acts. You partner with one of the biggest record labels in America. You call them the Avengers of K-pop. You tell the entire world that this group is going to completely take over the global music industry and rewrite the rules of pop music forever. And then, before they even sing a single note, your fans start trending a hashtag worldwide, calling for them to immediately break up. The members ended up split across different entertainment companies. Their mastermind creator was pushed out of his own company, and the group became a ghost of K-pop history. This is the downfall of SuperM. Back in 2019, the K-pop industry was in a massive gold rush. Companies in South Korea were desperate to break into the mainstream American market. SM Entertainment decided they didn't just want to debut a normal rookie group and wait years for them to grow. They wanted a shortcut straight to the top. The head of the company, Lee Soo-man, cooked up a wild idea. He decided to create a supergroup. He went to his existing, incredibly popular boy groups and picked out the MVPs. From SHINee, he took Taemin. From EXO, he took Baekhyun and Kai. Then he grabbed Taeyoung and Mark from NCT 127 and Ten and Lucas from Wavy. SM Entertainment officially teamed up with Capitol Records in America, and they proudly announced this group to the world as SuperM. They even used the official tagline, the Avengers of K-pop. They genuinely thought the entire internet was going to bow down and celebrate, but they completely miscalculated how internet fandoms actually work. The moment SuperM was announced, the internet didn't cheer. It completely erupted into absolute fury. Fandoms in K-pop are fiercely loyal to their specific groups, so when fans of EXO and SHINee saw their favorite members getting pulled away into this brand new side project, they didn't see a supergroup. They saw a corporate cash grab that was going to steal time, energy, and resources away from the groups they actually cared about. Fandoms like the EXO-Ls and Shaols felt like their favorite artists were being used as shields to help promote newer, younger artists from NCT and Wavy. They thought SM Entertainment was dropping the ball on solo albums and original group tours just to fund this weird American experiment. Within hours of the announcement, the hashtag SuperM disbandment party was trending worldwide on Twitter. People were literally praying for the group to fail before they even dropped a single teaser image. The atmosphere was completely poisoned from day one, but SM Entertainment didn't care about the online noise. They had their eyes on America, and they were ready to play dirty to get a #1 album. The group debuted on October 4th, 2019 with their self-titled EP SuperM and the title track Dropping. The album entered the US Billboard 200 at #1, making SuperM the first K-pop group to top the chart with a debut album. When the first week sales numbers came in, SuperM did exactly what their company wanted. They debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 chart. It looks like a massive victory. They were the first K-pop group to ever hit #1 with a debut album. But the moment the news broke, rival fandoms and music industry insiders started looking at the numbers, and they noticed something incredibly fishy. SuperM had sold a massive number of physical albums, but their actual streaming numbers on platforms like Spotify and Apple Music were incredibly low. For a group that was supposed to be the biggest thing in America, almost nobody was actually listening to their music online. So how did they get to #1? The answer was extreme aggressive album bundling. SM Entertainment and Capitol Records had set up a web store that featured over 60 different merch and album bundles. If you bought a shirt, you got a digital copy of the album. If you bought a hat, a poster, a keychain, or even a light stick, you got a digital copy of the album. To make it even crazier, they included a digital copy of the album with every single ticket sold for their upcoming North American tour. If a fan bought 3 different shirts and a concert ticket, they accidentally bought 4 copies of the album without even realizing it. Music fans across the internet were furious. They started accusing SuperM of cheating the system, buying their way to the top and using corporate loopholes to manufacture a fake hit. It got so bad that major news outlets started writing articles questioning if SuperM had rigged the charts. The backlash was immediate and intense. Instead of being respected as global superstars, SuperM was turned into a meme. They were seen as an artificial corporate group that only cared about numbers rather than making music that connected with people naturally. And things were about to get a whole lot harder for the members themselves. While the internet was busy fighting over chart rules and bundling tactics, the 7 members of SuperM were being pushed to their absolute physical limits. SuperM held their debut concert at the Capitol Records building in Los Angeles on October 5th and made their television debut on The Ellen DeGeneres Show on October 9th. The group then embarked on their first tour, We Are the Future Live, with 10 dates in North America from November 2019 to February 2020. The tour extended to Latin America and Europe with 3 shows in February 2020. Because SuperM wasn't a permanent replacement for their original groups, the members were forced to double major in their careers. They had to fly across the world to film content, rehearse intensely difficult choreography, and do American press tours while still keeping up with the schedules of their original groups. The timeline was completely brutal. Mark and Taeyong were constantly jumping between NCT 127 promotions and SuperM. Baekhyun and Kai were balancing massive EXO events. It was taking a physical toll on their bodies. During their live performances and concert tours, fans started noticing that things were going terribly wrong behind the scenes. Kai was literally performing on stage with a severely injured ankle, visually limping when the lights went down. Taemin was dealing with constant chronic back pain from the relentless choreography. The group's concert was just raw, high-intensity energy all the time. Every single song was set to 100% speed, with zero room to breathe. Then, right when SuperM was gearing up to take their tour to Asia and perform at the massive Tokyo Dome, the year 2020 threw a wrench into the entire plan. The global pandemic hit. Suddenly everything stopped. The borders closed, concert tours were cancelled worldwide, and the entire strategy of breaking into the American market through live shows was completely dead. For a group that relied entirely on massive corporate backing and live spectacles to build momentum, this was an absolute death blow. They tried to pivot to online concerts and virtual fan meets, but the initial hype was already fading away. The internet was moving on to new trends, and SuperM was left stuck in limbo. In August 2020, they were gearing up for their next album, with 100 serving as the pre-release single. SuperM made their US morning television debut through video call on Good Morning America on August 20th with a performance of 100. The second pre-release single, Tiger Inside, from SuperM's first studio album, was released on September 1st, 2020. It eventually became the group's first song to enter the Gaon digital chart. On September 25th, SuperM revealed its collaboration with Marvel for a limited edition merchandise series alongside the release of Super One and the album's third and lead single, One, Monster and Infinity. The album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200. It became the group's second top 3 entry after their debut EP. But as far as chart success goes, that's about it for them. They didn't get any Hot 100 entry or even global Spotify entry, and the album that went 1 didn't even stay long on the Billboard 200 chart. They didn't win much awards either. They dropped a single promotional track called We Do in April 2021 for a corporate brand campaign, but the pandemic was just a minor setback compared to 2021. If you follow K-pop drama, you know that the internet can turn on an idol in a matter of seconds. And for SuperM member Lucas, his entire world was about to collapse over the course of a single weekend. In August of 2021, an anonymous Twitter user came forward claiming to be an ex-girlfriend of Lucas. She brought receipts, she posted voice notes, chat logs, and photos that she claimed proved Lucas had been gaslighting her, taking advantage of his celebrity status and emotionally manipulating her for years. She claimed that he would constantly ask her to pay for luxury hotel rooms, buy him expensive designer clothes, and send him expensive gifts because he didn't want to use his own credit card and get caught by his manager. She said he would tell her things like, "You're the only one who understands me," only to ignore her completely when he didn't need anything. Within 24 hours, the tweet went viral across the internet, and just when fans were hoping it was all a fake rumor, more girls started coming forward. Another user on a Chinese social media platform posted a completely separate set of receipts showing a near-identical pattern of behavior. She claimed that Lucas was secretly dating multiple fans at the exact same time, flying them out to different cities and using his power dynamic as a famous idol to control them. There was even a highly bizarre specific story about Lucas buying a kitten to try to win back one of these girls and then completely abandoning the animal when she rejected him, leaving another member of his group to take care of the kitten. The internet went into absolute overdrive. The receipts were too detailed to ignore. The image of Lucas as this sweet, innocent, handsome idol was completely shattered. He was suddenly being viewed by the public as a toxic, manipulative person who treated his fans like objects. Lucas's upcoming music releases were cancelled, his face was blurred out of advertisements, and he was forced to post a handwritten apology online, admitting that his past behavior was completely wrong and irresponsible. He went into a total indefinite hiatus and then vanished from the face of the internet. This completely broke the structure of SuperM. You can't promote a 7-member supergroup when one of your most popular members is suddenly radioactive to the public and can't be seen on camera. The group was effectively paralyzed, but the problems were compounding from every single angle. Right around the time Lucas's scandal was burning down the group's image, age and the law caught up with the remaining members. In South Korea, military service is mandatory for all able-bodied men. Because SM Entertainment had built SuperM using older, established veterans, the clock was ticking from the very start. Baekhyun, the main vocalist and the leader of the group, had to enlist in the military in May of 2021. Taemin enlisted shortly after. Suddenly, the two core pillars of the group's sound and identity were completely gone for nearly 2 years. The group didn't have a leader, they didn't have their main vocals, and they didn't have a clean reputation. They were completely dormant. During this long period of silence, the internet started to see the real structural flaws of the whole project. While SuperM was asleep, the music industry kept moving. Newer, younger groups were debuting with fresh concepts, and they were breaking into America without needing 60 different merch bundles or forced corporate labels. The Avengers of K-pop started to look like an old, out-of-touch corporate experiment from a previous era. By the time the members started returning from the military in 2023, fans thought there might be a chance for a comeback. SM Entertainment even dropped a tiny teaser clip hinting at a return. But behind the scenes, a literal corporate civil war was brewing that would officially put an end to the group once and for all. In early 2023, SM Entertainment went through a massive, chaotic public takeover battle. Lee Soo-man, the founder of the company and the mind behind SuperM, was pushed out of his own company after a bitter feud with the current management. Lee Soo-man was the only person in the executive suite who truly believed in the SuperM project. It was his personal ego trip, his dream to create a Hollywood-style mega group. The new management that took over the company wanted to clean the house, cut unnecessary costs, and focus on their core artists. They had absolutely zero interest in spending millions of dollars to revive a controversial, high-maintenance supergroup that the fandoms already hated. With their corporate protector gone, the final thread holding SuperM together quickly snapped. The members themselves started realizing that their futures lay elsewhere. Baekhyun, after finishing his military service, decided he was done with how SM Entertainment managed his career. He ended up leaving the company for his solo activities and started his own label called I&B 100. He even took his fellow EXO members Chen and Seomin with him. Soon after, Taemin, another core pillar of SuperM, decided to leave the company too. After 16 long years with SM Entertainment, he refused to renew his solo contract and signed with a completely different company called Big Planet Made. For Lucas, after his explosive 2021 hiatus and his official departure from NCT and Wavy in 2023, his time with SM Entertainment officially came to a complete end. In April 2026, his exclusive contract was completely terminated. He has since pivoted entirely away from the K-pop group scene, focusing heavily on a brand new path as an actor, even landing a major role playing a younger version of a character in a high-profile Taiwanese drama. Kai completed his mandatory military service in February 2025. Following his discharge, he immediately jumped back into activities, joining 5 other EXO members to release their 8th studio album, Reworks, in January 2026. However, because Baekhyun-chan and Seomin are running their independent label, the full EXO lineup remains split across different corporate boundaries. Taeyong enlisted in the South Korean Navy in April 2024 as the final member of SuperM to start his service, and he officially completed his duties in December 2025. But the real shockwave hit the internet in April 2026 when the contracts for the younger members officially expired. In April 2026, Mark, who had been balancing multiple subunits for a decade, made the massive decision to completely depart from NCT and SM Entertainment upon his contract's expiration. He immediately went on to launch his very own independent label called Upper Room to completely control his creative future. Ten followed in a slightly different path during the April 2026 contract shift. While he left his exclusive solo management ties, he chose to remain connected to the NCT and Wavy universe to participate in group projects when possible, continuing his global solo and unit promotions. As of today, only Kai and Taeyong remain fully signed to SM Entertainment. The rest of the members are scattered across independent labels, brand new agencies, and completely different sectors of the entertainment world. SuperM just stopped existing. They became a textbook example of how corporate greed and lack of understanding of internet culture can ruin even the most talented group of people. So, what really happened to SuperM? The group's impact on the Western market fell short of SM Entertainment's ambitious expectations. Despite the initial success, SuperM faced several challenges in maintaining their momentum. One of the primary issues was the perception of the group as a manufactured supergroup rather than a cohesive unit. While the members were individually popular, their collaborations sometimes felt forced, lacking the organic chemistry seen in long-established groups. This perception may have hindered their ability to connect with a broader Western audience. Another significant challenge was the cultural and musical differences between K-pop and Western pop music. SuperM's music, while popular among K-pop fans, struggled to resonate with the broader Western audience. Songs like Jopin received mixed reviews, with some critics finding the concept and execution somewhat out of touch with Western pop sensibilities. The group's heavy reliance on high-energy performances and intricate choreography, while impressive, did not translate well to the Western market, which often favors more straightforward and relatable content. SM Entertainment's marketing and promotion strategies also played a role into SuperM's challenges. The group's promotional activities were heavily focused on their existing fanbase rather than reaching out to new audiences. While this approach ensured strong support from dedicated fans, it limited their exposure to potential new listeners. Additionally, the group's promotional efforts in the West were sometimes seen as sporadic and inconsistent, further complicating their ability to build a sustained presence.